Welcome to Shonen Flop Chibi, first impressions mini episode where we talk about the first chapter of the series we'll be covering in depth next week with our guest, Manga Alerts. Beep, 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 Manga Alert, Manga Alert.
Beep, 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 beep. Crisis Alert.
Hi, I'm Jordan, and with me today, as usual, is my lovely co-host, David. Say hi, David!
Hi, David. Imagine if I did like a really racist Chinese accent.
Oh, God.
David gets canceled.
Good thing we edit, listener, and you'll never know if David actually did that or not.
I did not.
You'll never
Fuck
know
you.
for sure. No, he did not. Maybe instead of hi, David, you just could have said, believe it.
Yeah, this series is fucking Naruto.
This series is fucking Naruto. But what name is it going under, David?
Jiangshi X.
Jiangshi X.
The X is for sucks.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yes.
why don't you tell us about who made this? No pun intended, because it's about vampires.
Oh, that's true.
Very clever. It's like poetry. It rhymes.
Like Twilight.
I love that meme on OK Buddy Cinephile where it's like, what's the hardest picture of a director? And it was like George Lucas wearing a Cars shirt at like a NASCAR rally.
Oh my God, that's really good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
There are other George Lucas memes, but like poetry, it rhymes, and it's time for Jordan to drop a rhyme about this time that we talk about the manga, so do it.
That was a little tortured, David.
I grasped for air at that last part.
Anyway, this is Jiangshi X, and it was written by Kurazono Norihiko, and it ran from January 23rd, 2023 to February 19th, 2024. Wow, over a full year. God damn, that's...
Wait, that didn't Naruto end like 10 years ago? I'm confused.
Ha, ha, ha. It ran for 35 chapters and 4 volumes. Oof, you know? I mean, we got spoiled with all the U19s. Now we're getting the longer series.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but why don't we get into the plot summary so we could talk about how this is shitty Naruto?
Yeah, let's do it.
Zhao Hu is in training to become what's known as a Dao Shi, monks who fight Jiangshi. Jiangshi are magic zombies that have their power levels tattooed on their foreheads for some reason. He's got 2 teammates named Chao Yun and Julie, and his dad, Long Hu, is the Dao Shi, or also known as the leader of the Dao Shi. David, he's kind of like the dad Dao Shi.
Yeah, the dad Kage.
Yeah, they've got their big exam arc tomorrow. You see, David, because he's Dadaoshi, it's like he's the dad Aoshi. They've got their big exam arc tomorrow, and when Xiao Hu tells his dad he's gonna get his hunter's license, he's like, yeah, you fucking better. Their test tomorrow is to bind a level 2 Jiangshi who, as previously stated, has the number 2 tattooed on his head. However, only one of them will be allowed through, which creates tension in the group. Xiao Hu leaves their house in the middle of the night, and Chao Yun says he's gonna train with his daddy, but actually, he went to stand on a rock and have stressful thoughts. An old man riding a tiger walks up and tells him that he's gotta do what he's gotta do and that Dao Shi is a lifestyle, and then he leaves. Popcorn David.
The next day, the exam starts, and apparently if anyone leaves the area, they all fail and can never take it again, and will always be sad in miserable failures and get clinical depression. Hey, I thought this was a fiction.
Hey!
A level 2 Jiangshi shows up, bites Chao Yun's arm, and runs away, which is a good thing that they're not traditional vampires.
Yeah.
Xiao Shu and Zhu Li are prepared to carry him to safety, while Xiao Yun is prepared to cut off his own arm. The Jiangshi reappears and takes off his disguise to reveal that it's Santa Claus, and it's all a prank, and he's their teacher. They pass and graduate. Yay! Was that their teacher? I thought that was just like another random dude.
I think it was just like one of their teachers, you know, like not their direct teacher, but like the gym teacher, kind of.
Yeah. Xiao Yun calls Xiao Hu a Nepo baby for training with his dad, but his dad says he's adopted. He's not his real son, and he doesn't train with me, and implies that adopted children have lesser value than biological ones.
Oh, 100% it does.
But it turns out that some bad guys are expositioning of how they're going to attack soon, and also we still need to note that his dad is still literally the boss of this entire program, so it doesn't matter. It still is an immense advantage he probably has.
He's still a Nepo baby. Like,
yeah.
You see, David, even though Elon Musk's dad had an emerald mine, he really did work hard and did it on his own.
Yeah. So, Jordan, what were your first impressions?
This is Naruto that we don't just have at home. We have like too much of it at home.
I think this is a bigger ripoff of Naruto than Metallica Tulika was for Hunter x Hunter and Dear Anemone was for Hell's Paradise. And they even literally said, is this some sort of Hell's Paradise in Dear Anemone?
Yeah.
If this wasn't by Shueisha, I feel like they would have sued them.
It's interesting because, like, going just by the plot summary, it doesn't sound entirely like Naruto, but, like, when you're reading it, it's like, this is Naruto, but shitty.
Yeah.
God, because aside from everything, it's just so generic. I mean, you have the 3-man group.
They don't even have a token female.
They don't even have a token female.
Also, for the record, we already did the Team 7 iconic picture. We did it for Star, so no, listeners, we're not doing it as the cover art this time because we already have referenced Naruto.
Damn.
I know. Jordan literally was putting his hands up for what the cover art should be and then lowered it while I said that.
Ah, yeah, it's true. It's true. I was. Exactly. That is correct.
I don't know why my idea was just to have the main characters and the vampires doing the Thriller dance. Because they kind of stick their arms out awkwardly like that.
God. I mean, that is like a legitimate, or at least like actual, like mythological, like type of creature in, like I think Chinese mythology, but it's still like, it's such a specific creature. Like they all have these big hats and they all have numbers tattooed.
Well, they're all dressed from like the 12th century for some reason.
Well, that's like the traditional thing, but like, I guess everybody is, which is another Naruto thing kind of, where they all seem to be dressed anachronistically. I don't know though, like we haven't really seen the technology here. If they have sort of modern technology, that is also a huge Naruto ripoff.
Yeah.
And they're in a hidden village in the mountain.
Yeah, the village hidden in the trees.
Yeah, and they're fucking, I love how this starts with an exam arc, and they don't even like, oh my God.
At least it got out of the way, right?
Yeah. The series tries to, like, be cool by starting with, like, a pointless fight scene against the Jiangshi.
I thought it was weird how it started in a fight, and it really made me feel like the author doesn't know how to tell an interesting story where he has to, like, artificially make it interesting in the first few pages.
He's like, yo, look at this cool fight. Isn't that cool? Also, this chapter was like long as fuck.
But it went fast.
Look, I'm going to give this guy that. This was not a slog to read. It just wasn't very interesting.
Yeah, we've been reading Hentai Kamen, and I have to say those chapters felt probably as long as this chapter did.
Yeah, and those chapters, listener, are not this long.
Yeah, they're like 20 pages.
Yeah.
I do think, though, it is cool as Chinese vampires. It is a shame that it's probably not doing anything interesting, but shout out to my boy Don, which just started a Chinese vampire arc in the chapter that landed the day we recorded, so I'm glad we recorded on Monday so we can make that comparison today.
Oh my God. I'm a bit behind.
Yeah. I also want to say, though, that at least the world feels a little bit interesting where this is like, I'm really grasping, but I do like how they say, hey, enough normal people can beat up a level 1 monster. That actually feels good. That makes sense. You know?
Yeah.
That shows, hey, that's why normal people are still alive. Because if you have a village of people, you still can fight the monsters off.
Yeah. They actually try and like ground it in like, this is what it actually is, you know? But also, it's so fucking stupid and annoying to have an exam where it's like, oh no, it's like, aha, the exam was actually a joke. Yeah. You know, you guys all fell for it. It's actually the fact that you were willing to do it is itself. You passed my test. And it's also like the artificial bullshit of, oh, if we don't pass it this time, we can never take it again to create drama. It's so stupid. Like, why wouldn't they be able to take it again? Do you have too many? What the fuck is this? It's stupid.
I heard the series wasn't very good, so I knew they weren't going to do something interesting, but I could have imagined a better offer having it play out straight, and then they fail the exam, and the entire series is them collecting the pieces of their life now that they're like social outcasts in this world. That would have, I think, been actually an extremely cool idea, and would have explained why it was their derivative, because it's instantly breaking the formula that you're expecting, and it needed you to think it was just a Naruto ripoff.
That, or I was kind of thinking that they'd have to be like outlaws or something, and they'd have to like be a roving band of Daoshi or something where they like, which both of these options would have been cooler and more interesting.
Mm-hmm. Also, how did they not know the test was a fake out? Like, how did no one ever hear about this the entire time where they never really see anyone failing the test and being exiled? That feels like that would have been very apparent to them that was what they were actually doing.
Maybe they did, though. Like, they still could have failed the test, I guess, if one of them just ran away, and maybe in the past people have just run away.
So you're saying every single time everyone either passed or failed under different circumstances?
I have no idea what I'm saying.
Also, they did hand symbols.
They did?
Yeah, they did. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? That was so ridiculous.
It just kind of looks and feels like shitty Naruto.
Yeah, also the art is like, there's some pretty bad art. Page 34 has some weird looking art. The only time I think the anime is lifeless, despite all the action, I do think that visual metaphor of the weight of his family crushing him was cool, but that was like the only time they really talk about the psychological impact of him being the Hokage's dad, or the Hokage's son.
I thought that the old man riding the tiger was a good character design. And that's like the only character design I thought was interesting.
Speaking of character design, did you notice that like one of the teachers looks a lot like the fake Jiangshi, and I assumed it was him, and then it turned out to be a completely different person because they both had like giant bushy beards.
Oh god, I don't think I did.
And I was like, oh, okay, it's got to be him pretending, and then it was a different person. I was like, why did they set up this like one-on-one discussion with this random teacher like 5 pages earlier then?
Oh my god. You gotta love the exposition teachers who are just watching the kids and be like, you know, he's like the son of this guy and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And like, they're just talking about it. It's like, but actually, blah, 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 blah. And you also gotta love how the main character has like an obligatory backstory scar on his face, which I assume that he keeps because it keeps his hatred flowing when he looks in the mirror.
Fucking so I actually really need to read
Kagurabachi.
Yeah, because I was actually in the Shonen Flop Discord where we just created a recommendation channel, and I was like, are there any good manga that feel like a year two? Which is like, I think honestly one of the most untapped perspectives of like
What do you mean by year two? I don't know what you mean.
So year two, so you know you have like Batman year one where it's like he just started, he's getting his shit together, he's learning like the very fundamentals. Year two is after you've done all that, but they're still growing. The new Batman movie was set in Batman year two, where he's figured out like the most simple brainless stuff, but he's still fucking up a little bit that it's still like reasonable and interesting, where you're like, oh, he still has a ways to go. Like imagine if One Piece started post time skip.
Kind of like how Spider-Man often is, you know, it's like, yeah.
And I think that's like a very underappreciated time period to show in a fictional character's life, you know? And so they just said, someone said that Kurabachi actually is a really good example of like a year two setting.
That makes sense. Yeah. I've heard Kagurabachi is surprisingly good. I guess it isn't that much of a surprise since it's the greatest manga ever written.
Yeah, it's the Morbius of manga.
Oh man, remember when Kagurabachi'd all over the place?
You telling me, Peter.
Yeah. I'll never forget when Kagurabachi said his famous line, "It's Kagurabachin time."
And then he Kagurabachi'd all over the place.
And then he Kagurabachi'd everywhere.
Anyway, I would not read 10 more chapters of this.
No!
I very much hope all these chapters go as fast and you can read like all 34 remaining chapters in like 2 hours. That would be great.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And then, though, Jordan, before we get into what we think will happen next, if you've been enjoying the show, we'd really appreciate if you subscribe to the Shonen Flop Discord, trying to hit our goal of 1,500 YouTube subs. And if we hit it, we'll do a special bonus episode on the Build King epilogue. If you're already subscribed, thank you so much. I think we're only 100 away or so. And then, Jordan, what are your guesses?
So I think the old man is like a legendary Daoshi or something.
Is that like the one he met on the cliff?
Yeah, that dude who looks like he's out of shitty One Piece. I think they have a teacher who leads them, but David, he's a little kooky, you know. And I think they get angry that they're being treated like kids, even though they're full-blown Daoshi.
Wow, real brave with these choices.
Yeah.
All right, my guesses are they're going to find out about Naruto's true parents. I mean, the main character. The vampires become more humanoid as they become more powerful, because I think it'll also rip off D. Gray Man. And fuck, who cares? This is Naruto. Just pick one trope. Like, talk no jutsu is important. I really don't care. God, is it time where we could just read the Naruto plot summary instead of this for the next episode?
Well, we'll see, because, again, it wasn't so much the plot as, like, all the vibes were, like...
It's got the zeitgeist of Naruto, you know?
Yeah. David, what's your power word?
Suck, because it's about vampires and this sucks.
Mine is Naut, because...
I don't even know what that word means.
Basically, it's like Naruto, Naut.
Just Naut, well, that's what I call Music Volume 6, and it's just Naruto theme song.
It's like how Boruto is Boruto Bolt.
Yeah.
Naruto's Naut. Yeah.
I understand why his name is Boruto. I still think it's stupid.
It's stupid. It's inherently stupid. I'm sorry.
Anyway, Jordan, let's get into Q&A. Big thank you to everyone who drops their questions in the Shonen Flop Discord. As a reminder, prioritization of questions are those who haven't asked a question before, question answered in a long time, or are patrons. Starting from Dude Rocks, what is your favorite Part 8 stand? Okay, now what would you change its name if you were forced to for localization?
I think I like space trucking because it would be cool to just store all my stuff in like a deck of cards. And I think I would change it to Cosmic Wheelin'.
I really like Doggy Style because I think it's pretty cool how it... it's also, I really like the character who has Doggy Style.
Which one is Doggy Style? It's been a long time.
Doggy Style is the golf course guy, I think. His like best friend.
Okay.
Right. The guy with the Ushanka.
What's a new Ushanka?
Ushanka's a Russian hat. It's the guy who like turns like can peel himself. It's kind of like Jolene's stand a little bit. Okay. He's the guy who brings up the spin, I think. Okay. So I guess just fake they call it puppy style.
Puppy mode.
Yeah. Actually Snoop style. Because it's a Snoop Dogg and that's like this stupid legal loop around.
You're trying to get a legal loophole that gets you even more.
Imagine they call it Snoopy style because they can't say doggy style.
You change it to like Snoop Dogg mode, and it's like, well, now you're just
classic pancake.
Classic pancake is a classic.
Anyway, from Weeboob's Ash, pick 3 flop protagonists and tell me what they would like to order on their pizza. So Jordan, why don't we just, for the sake of simplicity, let's do the 3 most recent protagonists that we've covered.
Okay, thank you.
First up, we have the main character of Yui Kamio. What would she like on the pizza?
Oh, so we're calling Yui Kamio the main character of Yui Kamio. Interesting. I think she gets half plain and half everything.
No, it's half plain, half meat lovers.
Or half plain, half pineapple, because one is good and one is evil.
Millennials only know one joke.
Is pineapple on pizza the only millennials joke?
Yeah, it's definitely the I identify as an attack helicopter of millennial jokes.
Really?
I don't know.
Okay. Okay.
So, what would you think of Gaka from D. Anemone? He would like a pepper and mushroom pizza.
I think he likes spinach because he's a good boy. That's it.
And Psychcast, which actually had a pizza on the cover art.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think that Katone would like?
Something really weird.
I bet she would like those Japanese weird pizzas where it's like a corn and mayonnaise with shrimp pizza or something.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to say. It's going to have corn on it.
For some reason, I was thinking ramen pizza because she's poor.
I'm just imagining the main character, Jiangshi, and he eats like udon.
Oh, like Naruto.
Yeah, he's just obsessed with eating udon every day. All right, so that's our answers. Next, are there any manga you wish you could cover on the show that are disqualified exclusively because they got an anime? If so, which ones? And actually, Jordan, you and I can't answer this, but the legendary MaxyBee can. Jordan, why don't you read off what MaxyBee said?
All right, just one. Hatsukoi Limited by Mitsuki Kawashita. It only lasted 32 chapters with a middling reception, but it received an anime a year later. Presumably, it was negotiated when they thought that it would be a bigger deal. Genuinely great flop, but that anime keeps it technically off limits. This is all according to MaxyBee.
Yes. I was a little disappointed no British accent, but I understand. And thank you for that question, Stackhorn.
You don't want to hear me try British accent.
Yeah, it's okay. From Redblade, what is a magic system from a non-manga anime story that you think would work very well in a manga or anime? I mean, bending from Avatar: The Last Airbender would be great. I see nothing controversial about me saying that.
Oh god, I'm trying to think about fucking magic.
It's weird how Western media doesn't have a lot of defined power systems, does it?
Yeah, it's almost like it's frequently annoying and drags things down. I don't know. I read a series of books called Acts of Cain by Matthew Woodring Stover, and in that series, the wizards who are called thaumaturges, the way that they cast magic is that they kind of force themselves to hallucinate things and then make it real through magic, and I thought that was cool.
Great. Yeah. All right, from Mr. Open Arms Art, if you could have any antagonist from a manga you've covered on an episode, who would it be?
Antagonist. Yeah, so the bad guy. Who was the bad guy in Double Taisei? Was there one?
Not really.
Yeah.
Oh, I would have the crazy lady from Amalgam Distortion. We wouldn't survive the recording.
Sarah Warren.
But my God, would it be a great time.
Yeah, Sarah Warren. We'll have her on.
Yes, there you go. Our final question is from Lyra Lynn. Which manga that you've covered on Shonen Flop had a bad first impression episode, but as you read it more, your opinion on it started getting better? I think actually Double Taisei we really grew on.
Double Taisei.
I think you like Candy Flurry, but it might just been for the ending.
Cool Frog and Dolphin.
Oh, that had like a very bad first chapter.
Hard Boiled Cop and Dolphin is what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you meant.
Yes, David knows what I mean. I remember the last Seiyuki being significantly better than we thought it would be from the first chapter. There was a brief moment where Yui Kamio seemed like it was going to be that.
Yeah, I know Takama Gahara got better.
Yeah.
And then it got worse. Oh, and St. Muscle where we didn't read the first chapter.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for submitting your questions. Jordan, I want to say thank you so much for all your hard work on the show.
Thank you, David, for everything that you do on the show as well.
Props to Shannon for the awesome cover. Find her online at illuminyatea. Thank you, Dylan, for assistance with editing. You can find his podcast, Anime Out of Context, at animeoutofcontext.com. Thanks to Tucker and MaxyBee for assistance with pronunciation, translation, and other miscellaneous research. Thanks to Kalal for being our social media manager. Find us on Twitter at Shonen Flopcast, Tumblr Shonen-Flop, and our website, shonenflop.com. We're on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, wherever else you get your podcasts. Do you want more weekly David and Jordan content? You can find us every Friday on the Chainsaw Minute, where we see what we talk about in the latest chapter of Chainsaw Man. Find it at csm.libsyn.com, wherever else you listen to Shonen Flop. And yes, my voice is dying because I forgot to get my water bottle. And join the Shonen Flop Discord. It's open to everyone, patron or not. Hang out with us, talk about anime, games, whatever else is on your mind. We even have a manga book club and movie nights. Find a link to it in the show notes or on our site, shonenflop.com. And if you've been enjoying the podcast and would help us keep going, subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/shonenflop. Along with that warm and fuzzy feeling of helping us out, you also get access to monthly bonus episodes, including the Shonen Drop, where Jordan and I look back at the previous month's episode and open the mystery box. Jordan, what was our bonus episode this month, and what did we talk about in the mystery box?
Well, David, for our bonus episode, we read Hentai Came In with Shen of Shen Comics. And, Mystery Box, well, if we had to teach a class on manga, what would that class include?
Hell yeah. If that's not enough, other perks include picking a manga for us to cover in a main episode, episodes up to a week in advance, and behind-the-scenes content like warm-up audio or recording notes. I also want to read off our wonderful patrons. Starting with our Dolphin Dad, we have Glornak and Rachel, my wonderful fiance.
Your wonderful fiance, huh?
My wonderful ex-fiance.
Yes, that's what I thought.
She's just the best. Moving on down to the Ravioli tier, where we actually showed Ravioli the inside of our freezer because we realized she's never seen it before.
What the
We have Chris, Eva, Jeanette Davis, Lady T, Matt, Scarlet Permanent T, Tiffany, and Trevor Schechter. I posted pictures of that on our. By the time you're listening, there should be photos of that up. Moving on down to the King of the Force, we have 090Z, Bandit Stoof,
My girlfriend.
Brad, Chad, Ivan, Jacob, Justin, Hardiman, Matt, Marty, Riley, Sarah, T. Wolfwood, and Tommy Boy. And moving on down to Galactic Ball Federation officers, we have Midsize Sedan, Aegis, Andrew, Andy, Angel, Aura, Blobmumu, Brandon, Cole, David, Dennis, Don't Dox Me, Datterson, Drago, Drew, Dylan, Nigel, AA Gingerbread Stallion, Fax, Funky Green Overdrive, Generic Man, Hey Randall, Ian McConnell, Kalala, Keanu, Kirkin, Lay, Manly P. Hall, Marabara, my dad, Matt, Maxie Bernard, Mike, Obscure Reference, got anyone for us, Jordan?
Yeah, Cremaster 2 is, like, kind of the best one so far that we've watched. It has a moment where, like, the drummer from Morbid Angel, the singer of, or the drummer from Slayer, the singer of Morbid Angel, and a bunch of bees jam together as a collective metaphor for Johnny Cash.
What the fuck are you talking about? Resident Warhammer Nerd, Salvia, Scott Fischler, Sybil, Silly Rookie, Semping for Senpai, Ash Staghorn, Taper Clip, The Real Jory, True Tactician, Tucker Whatley, Right, and ZZ Digital, and a big thank you for our Beast Children as well.
You wanted an obscure reference, David.
It's good. I love it. It's Kino.
Yeah.
Jordan, is there anything you want to toss in?
Check out Mission Ignition.
Thanks so much for listening. Tune in next Monday for our full episode on Jiangshi X featuring manga alerts.
This has been Jordan.
This has been David.
And you've been listening to Shonen Flop. David, say it.
Keep on flopping floppers.